Right, I think we are live. I think we are live. 1 second. Drop your comments down below. I'm just going to drop that question. Guys, if you're joining today, Thomas here from Fast Track FBA, supporting you with your Amazon business. If you've got questions, drop them down below. I like to go live pretty much every day. Although right now I'm just out in the Philippines, so it's quite hard. If you guys want to see, let me just check that we're actually live. If you can see me, drop me a comment down below. Also, I'll answer any questions you've got. I'm just trying to adjust my lighting. A little bit brighter. Yeah, it's okay. We'll kind of go down a bit. There we go. A little bit better. I'll show you how Amazon's gone. Sales are good, but we are clearing down still a massive amount of old stock. I will show you there if you can't see my graph. 54,000 for the last 7 days. We're 25% down on last year, but still pretty happy with that. Why? Because if you know anything about my sales numbers, and I'll show you over the last 12 months, is the fact that over the course we did like 3.1 million or like 3.1 now over the last 12 months. That's fine because it's doing like 13, but pretty happy with that. We're actually 30% up on the previous period, although you can see like January, obviously we're only kind of halfway through there, so it kind of went down during the year and then came back up again. So let me, that's kind of an interesting point for us. Let me just quickly check that we've actually gone live onto the gram. I want to make sure. A couple of people have joined. Hey, I think this might actually be working. Well, hey, I can see a couple of names popping up there. Let me just do this to make sure that works. Hey, so we've got Ivan has joined. Frida's has joined. Hey, good to see you. Obviously, if you've got questions, do let me know. And obviously I will answer them too. A couple of people joined already, so if you guys are on Instagram, I can see it over there. I'm actually just going to join on my phone as well, because if I do that as well, obviously then if anything goes wrong, which it does sometimes when it goes live, especially when you're calling from an island in the south coast of the Philippines. Right now, if you want to know, if you ever look on a map, the Philippines is quite long, a collection of islands. I'm on the southern island right now. Should we say yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, I was in a place called Davao. Today, I'm in another place just slightly north of Davao called CDO. If you get on a bus, it's about 8 hours, I think, 10 hours. But I flew, took about an hour. But yeah, really just like me up here meeting some of my staff, which is great. And yesterday I went out with like probably like 5 of my staff, which was really cool. And then over the last few days, Manila, I went and met a lot of my staff there, and then also Davao. So really, really nice in doing that. So I will kind of jump into the questions. Let's jump into Frida. She's just joined on Instagram. I'm going to try and read that now. Hey, Tom, I hope you're doing okay. Please check your PM. I messaged you a few days ago. Thank you so much. Okay, fantastic. I'll have a look. I'm guessing you're saying on Instagram. Give me 2 seconds. I'll have to let me flick over to my work one and then see. 2 seconds. Tom is checking his work Instagram. I can't see anything at the moment on my thing. Let me just have a quick look on my requests. Tom is looking at okay. Yeah, I see it. I've got you on my requests. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just say hey. I'll reply to that. I'll just accept that one. Hey. I'll just reply, hey, cool, got you. I'll reply to that afterwards. If I forget, because obviously I've been busy and the YouTube live's got me like, please let me know. But hey, glad I could do that. Tootsie FBA has joined as well. Let's kind of jump over onto the Instagram. Edward Jay has joined. So Jay has said, hey, Tom. Hey, Edward, good to see you. Well, hey, sorry, I'm getting so confused. Hey, Jay, good to see you. So I'm reading Edward over there. Let's have a quick look. Waleed is here, always first. Waleed, honestly, well done, great work. Absolutely loving it. Although I think Jay beat you. He's like, I snuck in there quickly. So honestly, I've got to say well done to you guys. How are you? What time is it where you guys are at right now? It's currently 6 a.m. for me. That's all right. Got up, had a quick shower, came met you guys. So go for breakfast and then start work. Today I fly back to Manila and then I'm going to Palawan, I think it is. Palawan. Palawan. That's it, Palawan. That's it. I'm going there to a place called El Nido. Just type in El Nido, ELNIDO. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Never been, looking forward to it. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Hey, Alex, good to see you too. Kosamina3. Hey, Kosamina3. Long time no see. Absolutely long time no see. How's the Philippines? Absolutely amazing. It's quite hot down here. I'm wearing shorts. But in Manila, I was okay in jeans. Really nice to see my staff. If anyone's got VAs, thinking about getting VAs, should we say, or like we've got, should we say, had any VAs, I cannot stress like how nice it is to come visit them in their home country here. And the one thing which I will say, I have met some of my staff on this journey who I met 3 years ago and have been with me now for 4 years. So if you really want to think about building a team for the long term, like really, really long term, meeting them in person does make a world of difference. And you really get a lot of buy-in, and they really support you in the growth of your business. So if you are thinking about building a business for long term, or maybe even worried about it, it's a great business expense. You get to come out to the Philippines, meet your team, and see them. And perhaps maybe what you could do if they're a bit far away is pay for them to come meet you, maybe halfway in Manila, for example. But I quite enjoyed that. Cynthia Farmer said, "Love CDO. Go to Dimont and eat good food, hang with foreigners." Yeah. I don't know if there's many foreigners here, honestly. Like I think I've seen one other foreigner, like where I am. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But unfortunately, I fly out today. I fly out about midday. I'm only here for a day, so very, very quick. But it's really good. Can you hire a VA if you have slow sales? You can, so long as you know what you're doing. Like you know your Amazon business. Like if you're, my God, my sales have been. My God, if you look at my sales chart, my sales have been slowing down all year. We've been hiring. Um, like for example, we've been focusing less on revenue, more on profitability, and that's been a really big important point for us. So I think definitely you could be looking at hiring, but again, it's just got to be right for you, and it's got to be right at that time of business. And the one thing which I will say about it is, if you are thinking about hiring, do look at the Fast Track FBA VA Academy. Right now, you not only do you get a VA, which is the hiring, you also get all our training guides, all our SOPs. You get 12 weeks of support of them in your business. And then in addition to that, you get support for you as a client, so you can join our weekly drop-in sessions. But then the final one as well, or should I say penultimate one, is you get 3 months unlimited replacements or your money back guarantee. So if you're not happy with the VA, you can get that. But the final one, which we're only doing this week, and by the way, this week, if you are interested, you will also get my admin mastery call if you buy a VA, or admin mastery course, which is all my SOPs for my admin mastery. Now, that's what we train our own admin VAs on. So inventory management, financial management, UK and US. If you're interested, you can get it this week free with a VA if you hire. But if you don't get it by Sunday, that's it. The offer's gone. So we'll just share that with you. So definitely thank you. And Quazim, both of mine are fantastic. Have you used any VA from Pakistan? Fantastic. Quazim, I haven't. No, we've just done Philippines. Nothing against people from Pakistan, but the reason why I do it the Philippines is once you grow your company size to a certain, like, even if you've just got, like, should we say 3 or 4 VAs, from the Philippines, for example, hiring one for Pakistan, it's easier cultural wise to keep them in the same culture. It's kind of like having a team all around the world versus having a team in just one country. They have there's a cultural thing which can improve efficiencies of teams, which is what we looked at. And obviously when you get to like 20 staff, my God, just hiring it all from the Philippines makes it so much easier. So I hope that makes sense. Eamond has joined. Hey, Eamond. Let me jump back over to the YouTube. Hassan, hey Hassan. Hope you're doing well. How do I pack a set of 3 items? Do I need to poly bag with a sticker on it? Should I hide the barcodes, the individual units inside? Yeah, so really good question. I don't do prep myself, but I'll give you what I understand. Couple of things. Number one, you want to make sure that those barcodes are not going to be scannable outside of the packaging by accident. Why? Because someone might accidentally, if it's like a clear packaging, they might scan the one bottle, not the barcode outside. So ideally, you probably want to cover the barcodes on, say, for example, each of the individual products. Number two, you do want to obviously bundle them in some way, and a lot of people do use poly bags, but you might be able to even do like shrink wrapping, for example. And then the final one is obviously making sure the external bag has got a label, and you might have on that label, or perhaps maybe another label on top of, not on top of it, but next to it, which says do not separate up the pack. And that's just going to help out. So a lot of people do it that way. That can work, but individual poly bags, absolutely fine, no problem there. So let's kind of jump through. Got a lot of questions on saying, what do you do on Quasi? What do you do with returns in a prep center? Some prep centers will deal with it for you. Some will like ship them over to liquidation if you ask them. Our prep center deals with our returns for us, or perhaps maybe you can just shift them on eBay, for example, and then do that through third party. You're really just trying to clear down that old inventory. So I hope that makes sense. Gig says hi. Hey, Gigs. Happy Monday says. It's not so happy Monday. It's Tuesday for me. It's really surreal when you deal with them, and you're up earlier. Even says there are benefits to having a sourcing VA in different time zones. Agreed. Yeah, there are, like, there's a thing in software development. If you ever want to know, you have like a software developer in like Philippines, Ukraine, and then Argentina, which I can really understand, because what you can do is you can basically have someone working on the software throughout a 24-hour day. So 3 people work on it, so you get 3 times the work done, which is a really great concept. It's very hard to execute on. Sourcing VAs, definitely you could do it. You could say, if someone's purchasing all year round, and even you obviously it, you're smashing it with business. There is a guy who I know really well, who I supported with helping to build a 24/7 operation, because of the nature of what they did, they do a lot of keeper flipping, so they need that 24/7 operation. Like the moment that price changes, they want to buy it there and then. For arbitrage, I don't think it's really necessary. Why? Because I don't think that the deals generally disappear that quickly. But when you're doing keeper flipping, and it can literally be an hour they're available, I do think the 24/7 operation helps. The only problem with the 24/7 operation is if you really want people sourcing all the time, you also need people purchasing all the time. So it does add another layer of complexity. Definitely done. It just means you need to scale as well. I see we've got happy Monday. Thank you. Kosamina 3, Palawan, that's it. And Kosamina 3 is not only joined on YouTube, but also joined on Instagram. Unless that is your twin. Dun dun dun. Or someone's copied you. Mary Adams. Hey Mary, hi from Texas. Big hashtag love heart. Loving it. I do need to come to Texas. I was there last year. Austin, Texas. It was a little bit hot. I won't lie, a little bit hot. But definitely I need to come back. I think Al Carton, the creator of SAS, is down in Texas, so I'll need to see him as well. Graham, how do the best OA businesses distinguish themselves from the competitors? Great question, but like 1 second, water, and I'll give you some thoughts. And the question you need to really kind of think about is like, in what regard? Like, OA businesses generally aren't so kind of like customer facing, if that makes sense. Like, we use existing velocity. So in regards to like distinguishing from the competitors, there's a couple of things you can think about. Number one is that it might have an in with a supplier whereby they can buy better. One of the things which we've done in the past, I know a lot of people do, is they're able to build relationships with the OA companies and buy in bulk. That happens. Number two, you can use economies of scale. For example, that's what we do. We still do a very simplistic model. We generally don't really do much bundling. We don't do any like like creation of our own listings or unique bundles. But what we do is have a really big team who can find a lot of deals, and we'll probably find a lot of deals that a lot of other sellers will, but we can just buy a lot. Number one, we have the money, but number two, we have like sourcing team, which is much bigger. So that really helps out. And then I think probably the other ones is like maybe going down niches. I know, if you talk about the US, for example, lots of people are doing like shoes, but you can go into a massive area whereby you really kind of use your team to really understand that. And what do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, if you are buying shoes in the US but you know the suppliers you're buying from, not only are you knowing the suppliers, like say, for example, if you're buying from Walmart, it might be the case that you're buying your sneakers from Walmart on the Nike store, but you also understand about all the cashbacks. You also understand all the voucher codes. You understand how to hack the cashbacks so that you can keep putting orders through. You can get through the checkout system. Like if you're in the UK, Boots, if you could get through the checkout system, then and not get your orders cancelled, that'd be quite a good thing. So again, because you're able to grow, or if we say understand these problems that a lot of other sellers face and overcome them, that can really differentiate you from the competitors, and that's really going to help out. So I hope that kind of makes sense, Graham. There's lots of different avenues you can go down, and then obviously you can even do things like variation listings, create your own listings, or should we say create your own listings, and even look at like wholesale routes, for example, if that's what you want to do. Even bringing products to market, which is kind of a similar to creating your own listings. So I hope that makes sense. Casey3 said, I think I'm having connection issues on YouTube. I hope so. I hope it's not me. If it was me, oh my God. Let me just quickly scroll down. Is anyone like, yeah. No one's like, Tom, I can't hear you. I've had that before. We're on a webinar, and Tom's headphones weren't working. No one could actually hear me. Oh my God. Let's kind of go through Coastal threes. Can you elaborate on why and briefly how you're focusing on probability and not revenue? It's a really good question. If I give you, I think a better way to answer it is about 3-4 months ago, I asked, I was in a business mastery event, Tony Robbins business mastery event Palm Beach, I think it was. It was really good, like really, really good. You get to see Tony Robbins live, meet the guy. Obviously, meet some really successful sellers. When you're in a room and someone says, "This year I want to go from 418 to 486 million pounds in sales," you're like, "Ooh, you're quite big." Obviously not Amazon, they were doing something else, but they're a business owner, and it's like, "Oh my God, wow, you guys are great." So you meet some very interesting people in different spaces and walks of life. I really enjoyed, and it kind of really got me thinking. And I said to a message to my purchasing manager, or my ops manager, sorry. I was like, John, if anyone knows, I was like, "Hey, John, how do you feel about 20 million? 20 million in 3 years. What do you think?" He was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." And we sat down and we talked. It was like, "Yeah, cool, pumped to this, pumped to this. Let's do it. 8-figure seller, 2 companies. That'd be great. We do 8 figures in both company." And then we sat down and this last week, and we said, "Why should we do the 8 million? What's the 20 million? What's the reason behind it?" And apart from like maybe being a bit of a vanity project, we kind of realized that there wasn't really too much we needed to do. It wasn't gonna. Like, yes, you're going to make more money, but what we did say is we still have problems, should we say, areas that we can focus on improving our business, which is a really important point. And we said, well, if we're going to scale the business to 20 million, would that be the right decision to make? And it's not saying it's right or wrong, but for us, and we said, well, getting the difference between where we are now, we probably do like 5 million to 20 million. What would be the difference? It'd be like, well, it was kind of like okay, but it really wasn't like we didn't need to. There was no necessary need to, and all it would do is increase our headcount, increase our operational infrastructure. How much we had to do to, money we had to do. And we're like, why don't we just really make this business more efficient? So we actually went the other way. We actually said, instead of trying to grow to 20 million, I said a really strange thing. I said one of our goals was to reduce down the amount of work that my team were doing. And should we say having to do. And it was a very interesting, and I'll share more about it later on. But the reason why I wanted to do that was because if I could reduce down the amount of what my team were doing, then I knew we were operationally improving efficiencies rather than scaling up just problems. And my business is good, but it's still got problems, and I never done that opportunity to improve, and we really want to do that. So, what do I say to you is we run 2 companies, 7 figures. We do it very well. I do it in 2 hours a week. I've not sourced for years. I've not purchased for years. I don't do administration. I do improve different areas of the business, but I think we can make improvements in our efficiencies and help other sellers through that rather than just scaling to the moon. And also as well, a lot of people, when we talk to them right now, we say, look, hey, we do like 3 million in the UK, 1 million in the US. They're like, that's too big. I can't understand that. And it's kind of actually detracting from the people who we try to serve, our customers. So I hope that makes sense. Case being 3, but it's a really great question. I hope my answer wasn't too long. Let's kind of quickly jump over to you, Instagram. It's working today. Super happy. Your Amazon results are amazing. Thank you very much. How long ago did you start, and how much was your initial investment, if you don't mind me asking? It's a really good question. So I can't really say too much. I think it was about 10,000. Don't quote me on that one. And that's the UK. I think it's about 5-6 years ago. I say probably about that 5.5-6 years ago. Definitely doing it for 5 years. By the way, you could do it so much quicker. And then what did we do? We took a lot of this money out and put it into this company. Again, we started with like 10,000, and I was just dumping money in it like you'd not believe. So this company, it was a running joke in my company. It's called the Bank of Tom. So every time this company spent the money, I would take it from here and put it into here. And really, this company right now is run very heavily on debt. So we use a lot of Amazon loans, credit cards, overdrafts. You can definitely do it. The one problem you get is like, what was your starting investment? Like, you could start with $20. Probably not. Probably like, say $2,000, and over a long enough time horizon, do 100 million in sales. So anything's possible over a long enough time horizon, and I'd probably just remember that. So, but you can do this quicker. You can use credit cards, overdraft, loans, for example. We just got really good at understanding what they are and how to do them. So I hope that kind of makes sense, and that's what we were looking at. And then Casey being through, thanks for your honesty, makes sense. And smart move, fantastic. Yeah, I'm from the UK too. Fantastic, cool. Glad I could help you. And yeah, I'm just sharing my journey. Like, I'm not, oh my God, like, if I did 20 million, people were like, wow, Tom, that's amazing. And some people would be like, it wasn't any difference to the 5 million. So yeah, let's kind of go through Oliver. Hey Tom, what are the best ways to check if a product is private label? Ensure I don't get kicked off the listing. 600 sales a month, one seller. I've sourced it from China manufacturer. So generally speaking, if get keeper out, there's a really most important one I really like. Go onto the product itself. Just look at the new seller count. the new seller account is going to be really useful because if it's always one, it's probably going to be private label. And if it's always the same seller over the whole time, I'd say it's generally private label. Another one you can do is kind of like look at who the seller is and are they the seller now? That's probably going to be private label. Basically, what you're really looking for is, are other people on that listing? Now, another good trick you can do is not just looking at that one product, go find other products in that brand. So let's say, for example, if it's Lego and I was unsure, well, I found a Lego listing and I thought, oh, I really like this Lego listing. 1 second, can I go up? Woohoo! If I really like this Lego listing, then I'm like, but I'm not sure if it's private label. So what I do is I go find other products or listings with Lego. And what would then happen is I would notice that actually there's lots of Lego listings. And while this one only has one seller, all the other ones have lots and lots of other sellers. So I'd probably guess that they should. It's not, the brand isn't restricted because there are other listings. So I hope that makes sense. 600 sales per month, one sales. If it's only got one seller, could be private label. But if there's, find other listings of that seller, and you should be fine. Have you? Mariam said, have you started private label? No, probably never will. Private label is very different to arbitrage, very different skill set, and it's probably not what I'm going to do. I had a good conversation with a friend who sold his business for high six figures in private label the other day. Yeah, he's like, it's just different. Arbitrage is different. And I like arbitrage. It's simple. Private label, there's a lot of risk, which I'm not a big fan of. But each to their own, really each to their own. Fizzy Jizzy, hey Fizzy Jizzy. When analyzing an ASIN, can I match the lowest price for the last 3 months, but can't match its lowest price it was a year ago with the same quarter? Should I still go for the product or no? 1 second. First things first. Great question. Live for the analytics. Number two, I love the fact that what you're doing the review wise, you're looking at number one, the lowest historic price in the last 3 months, but also the last year. Now, whenever you're doing your analysis on Keeper, the one thing you always need to consider is that past performance is an indicator of future potential. It is not what is actually going to happen. We cannot predict the future, but what we can do is use the past performance data to give us an indicator, to give us insights into where the business might be going or where that product might be going in the future. So when you're doing that analysis, when you're looking at these products, fantastic that you can sell it in the lowest price in the last 3 months. And what you might say is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a prediction. And I can never predict 100% correct into the future, but what I can do is predict with a level of certainty or within a level of, should we say, reducing my risk down. So when you look back over the past of the Keeper sales chart, what you're saying is like, I can sell the majority of the time, but there's this one time it wasn't. Now, the next question you want to ask is, do I think that time's likely to happen again? When it happened, was that price? What was the conditions of that price? Was it Amazon on the listing, or was it someone else? Did it blip down once, or did it go back up? And it might be like, well, if that happened again, if it just blipped down in the future, if it happened again, it's probably not going to last for very long. I'm pretty happy. Or perhaps maybe it was Amazon who kept the price super low when anyone tried to match them. And as a result, you'd be like, well, Amazon's on the listing now, I'm not going to sell. So again, it's a little bit more analysis you're doing. I really do like what you're doing, but you've just got to be mindful of like, this is a prediction or what happened in the past, and you're using it to help you forecast what's going to happen in the future. And for me, and when I think about it, is like, I will never buy a deal or get my team to buy a deal whereby we're 100% guaranteed, because that's just stupid. Like, you couldn't guarantee 100%. But what I would say is that, there's a certain risk element that you're willing to accept. So it might be like, look, 90% of the time I can sell this product and I'll be profitable and I'll be very happy. 10% of the time I'm not, so I'm going to try. Why? Because I'm just trying to take risk and try and manage that risk. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And I'm really trying to understand what that risk looks like in the past and see in the future, do I feel confident that the majority of the time that I'm actually going to be doing well? And sometimes it could go wrong. But you know what? We are gambling. This is what trade is. We're gambling, or business. The fact that we're trying to predict that our ability of analyzing the past is going to help you in the future. Hope that makes sense. Fizzy Jizzy, none is seasonal. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So yeah, if you Fizzy Jizzy, let me know down below if that's helpful. My God, I need to be quicker. Tom's going 14 minutes too slow. Hi Tom, for someone starting NOA, what software tools best start with? I'd really just recommend something like SAS. You can use Keeper as well if you want. Definitely need a professional selling account. Do not skip on the professional selling account. I know you're like, Tom, it's only going to be me. I'm only going to be individual. I'm not a professional yet. Get the professional selling account. You cannot get the buy box without a professional selling account. You have to get that. Do not go the individual. The individual is completely pointless. It's the people who are doing handmade stuff. I think it's really not going to be, or secondhand. Don't you have to get the professional account. That's one thing. SaaS, I think you need maybe Keeper. I think that's a good one, but definitely if you're just really starting on a budget, SaaS only. And then after that, just wait, literally wait, start shifting your products in. You can price them manually once they're in, and then after that, you can get some P&L software. There's a really good video I did called like 3 months of free. Get that onto. I think that'll really help you out. So do that if you're getting started. Tom, you did 208k revenue in December. Can you tell us the net profit? So in December we did about 208. We generally operate around about a 5% net profit figure. If you want to know, I don't actually know the numbers right yet, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But generally it's about 5% in the UK. USA is about 10%. We do get some cash back on top of that. But the one thing which I will say is, I said I don't know the numbers yet. Why? My admin team report the numbers on the first Friday of the month after the 15th. So it's not Friday yet, after the 15th. It's Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday on the 15th, on 16th. So I have to wait till Friday till I get the numbers, and then we have a meeting about it all. So generally we'll see, but generally, like, yes, December generally trends higher because you get higher ROIs, and then some months tend a bit lower. So if you look at the year on average, it's about 5% we convert at. So that'll kind of give you an idea. It might not be huge. You might be like, wow, Tom, that's not very much. You're not making much money. Other people are doing way better. Yes, but I do only work 2 hours a week on both of these businesses. 2 hours. That's it. Sometimes I work 5. That's like doing projects, but I don't do it all the time. Billy Evans, for food items, do I need to stick expiry date stickers on, or it isn't necessary? Oh, watch my video. I'm not 100% sure. I think you probably do. You need a way of showing there's expiry. Everything has to be labeled expiry. I would also recommend encoding it in SKU because that helps you out as well. You can see it. I think you do. There's a video. We've done a video on it. I don't redo the prep sites. I think you do it. From the UK, I think you're joining Tim Torres's mastermind 7-figure program. Thoughts? I know Tim personally. Great guy. Really, really great guy. He's a good guy. I'm sure you'll probably see a bit of me in there. It's not something I'm joining because I do actually speak to Tim very, very regularly, and we do kind of convert a lot. But I just don't have time to do any like Amazon masterminding on top of what we do with the Seller Academy and how that operates, and like it's our own masterminding course that we do. So yeah, like if it's something that you want to do and you follow Tim, fantastic. Like he's a really good guy and he's a very successful seller. I won't deny that. I think that's really, really good. Let's kind of jump through. Ian, hi Tom, I just want to ask, what's your prediction of the VA industry in 10 years wouldn't it be in the front lines of AI and technology? I do understand what you're saying. Like AI right now is really good. And if you look at ChatGPT, we've had to play with it. It's going to change things like blog writing, article writing, definitely. But there's a really interesting thing that I learned about AI, and they were like, apparently we've had AI around for a long period of time, but it still can't make you a cup of tea. It just can't figure out where the coffee cups are. It can't do it all. Like there are certain tasks or certain processes within the world which things like AI are going to be very adaptable to very quickly. But when it comes more complexity, it comes harder. I don't think probably in like at least the next 5, you're going to see things like online arbitrage replaced. Don't quote me, but the reason why I say that is because it's a very complex thing with a lot of variables, i.e. like different product types, keeper analysis, comparing products, looking at different opportunities to do things, figuring stuff out, being it's really a creative process to a certain extent. Like when you think about creating bundles, or even like how you negotiate with suppliers, or even stacking different discounts, or like hacking systems, AI works very well when there's clear logic defined and it can kind of go through those processes through a learning model to do it. So where you think about like writing blog posts, it can collect information in from the web. It uses that natural language processing. That's really advantageous. And you're going to see it. They talk about AI doing accounting, absolutely fine. There's a very clear logic flow to accounting, and that can really support you. But where things get really complex, like making a cup of tea is actually really complex. You know, go to the cupboard, find the teacups, put the water in the kettle. Where's the water? Where's the kettle? Right, where are the tea bags? Do we want 2 sugars or 1? Which way do we do? Etc. Like little things like that become actually quite a bit more complex. I'm not an expert at all. I think definitely you're going to see AI happen, but it will definitely increasingly come in, but it will just be more and more in our everyday lives to help supplement what we do. And it's all the easy tasks, like adding stuff to your calendar, telling you where you need to be, that stuff. The more complex stuff, I don't think is going to happen. But I think the VA industry is going to happen, and I think the one thing you're probably going to see is that the VA industry will change, not from VA industry, it'll be a remote work industry. That'll be, I think, a very interesting space. It's going to change. Everything's going to change, and you'll see that, and you know that. But everyone's been talking about AI for God knows how long, and I still think you'll see the change, but it takes time. And I have read The Singularity, and I really liked it. But it's a very interesting point. Ian, let me know what you think down below. Mariam said, "What are your views on Bybot Pro? Good bit of software." I know Matt Webley. He's doing another bit of software now. I think it's called Sales Freak. Is anyone using that as drop shipping? But yeah, it's cool. It's good. I think if you're a new beginner, it's really helpful. It's quite a bit more it's very user friendly and clear. SaaS can be quite complex, but it's very powerful. And what's the biggest comparison between SaaS and Bybot Pro? I don't really know. Like they all do the same things. Like I just use Bybot Pro. I use SaaS because I find it easier for me and my eyes and the way I think. And I think I really like how it does the stock count, and then you can add the stock up. I think that's really useful. I'm not saying it's better. It's just my personal preference. I think we have all the tools: SaaS, Bybot Pro, FBA multi-tool, ResSeller, Ace and Zen. And I think there's one more maybe. And really, what we find is that those products are great, but the majority of my team probably use SaaS, and ironically, it's the cheapest, which I think is great. Let's kind of go through. Tom, I'm wondering about how you live abroad and deal with receiving credit cards and other important legal docs. How do you have your mail forwarded to you? You can get scanning solutions. They'll do it for you. Basically, all my scanning solutions, they will literally just, should we say, clear down those, should we say, scan it in, and then they send it off to my sister's house and my dad's house, and they'll just take me a screenshot of the actual credit card itself if they want that. So that's quite helpful. But that's it, really, nothing else. Like it's actually really simple. I know you're like, oh my god, how did you do it? We've done it for 5 years. It's really easy. Find a really good friend to get them to do it. Ian says next. What's the prediction? Oh, it's a VA. That's fine. Happy Mondays. Currently in the UK on a skilled work visa. Can I sell on Amazon? I don't know. You need to look at the legalities of it. I'd say I don't know if you're like I'm not a visa expert. I'm not sure. I really don't want to say I don't see why not, but I don't know the answer. You have to look at the visa. You have to do some research. Like the question is, can you create a business? Can you do something outside of that visa? Does your visa allow? I don't know about visa. Like you have to do some research. Look at the government's website. Sorry, I don't want to put you in a bad situation. I don't want to say anything because like if I say something this, you say, oh Tom did it, I could lose my visa. Hope that makes sense. Oliver, awesome answer. That made a lot of sense. I hope that helps. Top man. Thank you, Ian. Ian, Oliver. Glad I could help. No problem. Ian says, hi Tom. I just want to ask you a prediction of the VA into the next 10 years. Aren't they in the frontline technology era? Didn't you ask that one? Oh, you're here. Yeah, cool. Ian, I hope I answered that one. Yeah, I can see it. I on Instagram. I'm just getting a bit slow. So I did answer that. By the way, I still think the VA industry is going to be there, like 100%. There is always going to be tasks that, she said that AI struggles with. Or, by the way, what you got to realize is that people who developing AI is really expensive. Like you have to do a lot of yes, computers can help learn themselves, but you have to really help them sort of investment. And if the application for that investment is you're not going to make much, it's really about the ability to monetize it. That's why Microsoft invested in ChatGPT, because it's going to be really big. Google's going to do massive updates against this because they're going to want really good quality content, not AI created content. So it's going to be very interesting where it goes. But the one thing to think about is there's got to be money to invest. There's one thing, if you look at history, I read about it, is why didn't the Romans invest more into in industrial revolution, should we say, was because slave labor was cheaper than investing in technological improvements. Technological improvements happen throughout history during times of when the cost of labor becomes really expensive. Slavery stops that. And I'm not saying that virtual assistance is slavery at all, but what you do understand is it has a cost in regards to the cost of labor. So if labor is cheap and AI is going to replace that, it's probably not going to be worth it. But if labor is expensive and AI can replace that, it will be worth it. And a good couple of examples you could say around in accountancy, legal lawyers, there's so much documentation, computers are very good at that. There are going to be lots and lots of roles. Chat support, for example. Should we say, I'll come back to that. There's lots of roles whereby VAs are going to be very useful, which are people in other countries, because they're people and brains are very powerful. I think Google did 4 years ago. They released a chat support where you could have a conversation with them, and they booked a call on a hair salon. No one knew it was actually a robot, not a computer. For that chat support, definitely AI would be very good. But somewhere it's a bit more complex, and it can't really, an AI would struggle. For example, online arbitrage, doing comparison, doing it all, it will happen eventually, but when, I don't know, and I don't think it will happen anytime soon. Maybe not in the next 10 years. Watch this space. Let's kind of jump through. Good question. Let's jump over to Instagram quickly. At Tarkies. Hi, Tom. I'm coming up short in one of my ASINs. I'm coming up short. How do you mean short in one of your ASINs? However, it's less than 40 years since I sent in my shipments. Okay, so Amazon shipped it in. Two things. One second, Tom needs water. Talking too much. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. I have a really good record for answering them. So the question is two things. Number one, let's just talk about what to do before, and then second of all, let's do about what to do now. So number one, make sure your boxes are being sent in with correct shipping amounts, so you don't get them wrong, like, oh, whatever, I'll just put whatever in there, fine. No, make sure they're exactly 100% perfect. Number two, make sure that they're weighed correctly. If you can, film it. It'd be amazing. Like, some prep centers do film the boxes being packed. That's a good point. So you can send the video, which is fine. You don't have to do it, but it does help out. You can send the film to Amazon. Then that's number one, preemptive work. Number two is when you ship it, put everything correct on Amazon, the correct weights, shipping to UPS, the correct weights. And then finally, number three, when you get in, you can do what's known as reconcile. They'll ask them to do it. If they don't like it, raise a case with Amazon, and they can do that as well. Sometimes they get like auto close. You have to raise a case and ask to speak to escalate to a manager. They can do it that way, but they will ask you for evidence of the products that you shipped, and they will also be checking that you've actually done step one correctly. If say for example you said, it was 10 and you packed 11 by accident, and then you checked in 10, well, they're not going to give you the extra one that you didn't tell them about. So you got to make sure you're doing everything right. You've got good practices first. Then once you've done that's going to really help you out. So I hope that makes sense. That's going to be what you really need to consider. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just kind of jumping over. Tom's changing his account on his Instagram. So that's good. And then Jake Turner, when Fast Track FBA trains a VA, what tools do the train them in? So we'll train them in your sourcing tool. It's a really good question, because right now we have our VA Academy. We train them in your sourcing tool. And then the other one we train them in, by the way, you get to choose. So if you tell us like, hey guys, I'm using RevSeller or Ace and Zen, we will train them in RevSeller or Ace and Zen, or Bybot Pro or SaaS. So you can teach them that as well. The other one we do is the fact that, what's it called? Yeah, the other one we do is the case that we'll train them in SaaS, and we can do retraining on SaaS as well. So within the VA Academy, we'll train them on whatever sourcing tool you're using, and like Keeper or SaaS, for example. That's quite helpful. And then that's just going to really support you in your business. And if you have any problems, we can do retraining as well. But yeah, I think that's about it. Jake Turner 10 on Instagram over here. Let me know if that answers your question. Let's go jump through SJ. Hey, Tom, what's the next profit we can expect to see from OA? Great question. Generally, what you've got to realize is I operate a very, 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 very outsourced business model. And we probably do, should we say, more focused on maintaining the business model rather than focusing on pure profitability. What do I mean by that? Well, if I wanted to do pure profit, let's just do actual net profits, I'd probably be far more efficient and effective by having no staff. Why? Because obviously staff cost money. But I'm not so interested in that. I'm more interested in having a better quality of life. I'm happy to take less money but work less. So I do actually work about 2 hours a week in my Amazon business. Apart from we do performance management, strategic planning, other bits and bobs. So maybe call it 3 or 4. But generally, like if I want to, I can do 2 hours a week, no problem. Jake, thumbs up. Glad I could help you. So I operate about 5% in the UK, 10% in the US. I think if you're doing it yourself, probably you're not going to be doing 4 million, for example, or 3 million. But I think for you, probably be looking at 10 to 15 quite happily in the UK once you include all things like cashback, and if you're doing it yourself. I think that'd be a good thing. And what do I mean net? Like net. So if we just call it 10%, for example, if you're going to do 100,000 in sales to walk out with 10,000 in profit, fantastic. Now you might be thinking, hey Tom, 100,000, that doesn't, 10,000 profit on 100,000 sales isn't very much. Well, you've got to think about, like, you haven't had to manufacture the products, you haven't had to market them, you haven't had to ship them to the customer, you ship them to Amazon, you haven't had to market to the customer as well, you haven't had to do all the Amazon logistics and infrastructure. You're making 10% on what? Really finding some products and shipping them in from your laptop anywhere in the world. That's pretty good. And obviously you can continue to grow that from your laptop anywhere in the world. So I do know people who have done 1 million on their own. The one thing I will say is the UK is good, but the US does have higher margins. That's what we've seen. We've definitely seen that. We see it in our numbers as well. I think right now, like, my team would probably track around about 35% inventory, 35% ROI, in the US versus 20% in the UK. So it does make a difference. But if you're getting started in the UK, I'd still recommend just selling the UK, get doing that. You can do some other things like move over if you wanted to later. Married to Reselling joined. Hey, Married to Reselling. Married to Reselling. Does that mean you get divorced? Divorced from reselling? Is that the next one? That'd be quite interesting. I'm not too sure. Oh, Bab. Hey, mate, what's your opinion on flipping eBay buys on Amazon? So I interviewed, what's his name? Rake and Profit. Cool guy, just hit £1 million as in like his own net worth. So massive respect to him. I think it's cool. I think you can definitely do it, but you have to be so careful. He actually has like a course, which I'd probably say go just sign up to his course, learn anything you need to do or community. Couple of things you need to like stay away certain types of products. Number two, I think it's like there'll be certain like DVD items, media items, which is generally what you're going to go after. They will be very like high risk. So he says like stay away from them. Like the very fast selling high risk items, so he says stay away. And then the other one is the fact that you really want to be checking those products to make sure they are legit and not fakes, because it's a lot harder to prove authenticity. That's the big problem. You can't do product authenticity improvement, which is the problem. You can definitely do it. Rake and Profit does a good job, but he's very selective about what he does. So I think if you just be mindful, it can work, but you've got to be very careful. And I would probably say go look at Rake and Profit. He would know way more than I would in that respect. Smart guy. Zach says, "Hi Tom, do you think it's worth going to events like Spring Fair to connect with wholesalers?" Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're getting into wholesale, definitely. If you're not, then I'd probably say no. I think for you, if you can build that relationship, definitely. I look at the likes of Watch Me Amazon and Amazon Lit. They always talk about go to these events. One thing, and if you want to know, it's on my phone. It literally just says at the bottom, do what the experts do. That's it. Like, don't question, don't do anything else. Just do what they do, and you'll probably get a similar result. So they all say go to it. I think it's definitely worth it. I've been to a few before in a previous life for something I had to do. It's good. Definitely build those relationships. It can kind of give you an edge. Personally, for me, it's not something that I do. Why? Because I don't want to be the person having to build the relationship. That's not where I want to be spending my time and what I'm doing. So I really like OA for that model. But if you're doing if you're doing wholesale, I think that can be really beneficial. Let's kind of go through and thank you. Cool, no problem. Thank you for joining. Thank you for asking questions, guys. I've got 10 minutes. If you've got questions, drop them down below. I will answer them. I'm very good. We'll answer them. One thing I will say, if you are looking to hire a VA right now, Fast Track FBA VA Academy, we get you a VA right now. You're going to get all my training manuals as well. You're also going to get 3 months worth of aftercare support. Any problems with your VA, you can get a replacement. You can, get a replacement as many times. We can do additional training if you want that as well. Like, hey, they're really good, but they don't really, there's a slight problem with the keeper. Can you help me with that? Which is going to be really helpful. Also, calls from my team. You're going to get unlimited number of placements within 3 months. And also, if you're not happy at all, you can get your money back. You can do 2 months and say, Tom, it's not for me. Can I have my money back? And we'll give you the money you paid us back. And then the final one right now, but it only ends at the end of this week, is that if you buy a VA from us, fasttrackfba.com/VA with us, by the end of the week, you will also get my SOPs, my admin mastery course. That is all the SOPs we use to train my admin team up on all the admin process for inventory management, shipment reconciliation, all those things. And in addition to that, our accounting, that's UK and US, VAT, sales tax, all those things. And that's going to support you in your business as you grow. You get that for free. It was all part of the package with the Fast Track FBA VA, fasttrackfba.com/VA. You can book a call with my team. Trust me, I think you can definitely do this business on your own, but I don't know why you want to. Hiring a team is really helpful. And if you want to know, the cost you've got to pay for a VA per month is $500 or £400 per month. That's for a 40-hour week, and they generally add about $10,000 or pounds to your business. So that's something that really, really helps out. That's every month going forward. We teach you how to manage them, what to do, everything that you need to know. fasttrackfba.com/VA. Let's go through. Oh, no, sorry, I'll go bad. Oliver, part 2. It's not their label brand, but they're listing they have put their brand as their Amazon username. Yeah, so I get your point. So it kind of looks like what they're doing is they're creating their own custom brand. So it's kind of like Tom gets Asda multivitamins, and what does he do? He puts 2 of them together or whatever, and then decides to call it Tom's multivitamins or Tom's brand. And because it's now Tom's brand, not Asda, Tom controls the brand. Amazon doesn't care. Amazon's like, well, if Tom's brand, fantastic. Amazon doesn't look at the product, their staff don't know. All they know is that Tom owns Tom's brand, and if Tom's brand wants to complain about another seller on Tom's brand listing, regardless of whether the product Tom's selling is actually Asda multivitamins or not, then Tom is allowed to do that, and Amazon will enforce it. So my advice to you is probably stay away. That's it. Stay away. And on that note, Tom needs to take his multivitamins. Otherwise, he's not going to be strong or healthy. Thank you, Asda. I bought these from the UK. These multivitamins have probably traveled more than a lot of people have, which is quite funny. Definitely not got dying. Let's jump through. Billy Evans, do you have any detailed videos going through the process of analyzing a product and what you should consider for buying? I feel there's loads of factors you need to consider. Yeah, 2 things I'd really recommend. Go to Keeper, just type in Keeper in YouTube. You'll find my basic one. It's like number 1 or 2. You'll see a picture of me on Keeper. Like, do that, watch that one. It's really, really good. Number 2 is the fact that that's going to be helpful. And then number 2 is the fact that look at there's some videos where it's like how to analyze a deal in 20 seconds, how many to buy. I do lots of those kind of videos. They're really, really helpful. And they will show you like how the exact process I do that analysis. I think that's really, really important. So it's 2 parts. The Keeper is really important to understand. Definitely understand that in detail. And then number 2 is how you do the analysis with all the tools combined. So definitely look at that. That's going to help you out. But I literally just go through reviews about live review. That'll be helpful for you. Hope that makes sense. Fizzy Jizzy, what are all the things one should look at on Keeper before starting? Fizzy, wow, just answered that product. I could tell you forever. Go to YouTube, go to Keeper. Like, literally, just type in Keeper. You'll see my video. It's a 3-part mini series. It's got basic, advanced, expert level. Watch them. That's really going to help you out and to go through that exact thing. I think that's going to be really important for you. So do look at them. That's going to be helpful. And it's going to show you all the things on Keeper that I recommend you need to learn and look at. And we can do some analysis on there. So yeah, check that out. That'd be helpful. Let's kind of go through. Hi, Tom. I hope you're doing well. Just wondering, I found a few profitable products. Everything was good on SaaS, but estimate sales between 10 and 20 months. Is that too low? No, not at all. I would even go down to 5 sales per month. Like, I try and avoid it if it's got low profit, but I would actually buy down to 5 sales per month. So I hope it makes sense. A couple of guys joined on Instagram, by the way. Jack, Shaz, Aku, Saros Empire. Hey, Tim. How are you getting on? Saros, we had lots of people talking about you today. Hashtag excited. Let me know how you're getting on. Let me drop a comment down below. I've got 6 minutes and then I need to run away because I'm in the Philippines right now. Zach said, hey, thank you. Thank you, Zach. No problem. Kyle McGee, what would be your advice for someone starting $200? I hate to say it, look, you could probably start with $200, but I probably would say go and get some more money. Like, you at least want to get to about 1,000. Look, and why? Let's just put it this way. You're going to start with $2,200, right? Cool. Well, you're going to start an Amazon Seller Central account. And if you're going to start an Amazon Seller Central account, you're definitely going to need a professional. I think, don't quote me, it's about $30. So straight away out of $200, $30 is going into that. You're probably going to want tools. You might do something like SaaS, for example. That's going to be another $20. All of a sudden, $50 is now gone. And by the way, you haven't even bought a single product yet. So 25% of your asset value, which is your cash, has now been invested into tools, and you're not investing. And let's be crystal clear: tools don't make you money. It's the investment. The tools help speed up finding products, but it's the products that you buy, they make you, and resell, they make you money. So the tools won't help you, but what it will do is that you're going to need to make sure that you're buying stock. So you've already spent $50 on the Amazon selling account and a tool, and let's say, for example, the average life cycle from buying to selling and getting your money back is about 3 months. That's pretty good, by the way. So what you're going to be looking at is what you are going to be looking at is the fact that you're now about to spend $50 per month over 3 months, which is $150. So that leaves you with what? $50 left to buy in stock. And even at 100% ROI, so buy for $50, sell for $100 or $200, make $50 profit after all costs. You're only going to be covering your costs. You're not even making any profits. And by the way, you can get 100% ROI, but it's probably not going to happen as much. So I think my advice to you would go back, do $1,000, but in the meantime, there's no reason why you can't do more learning, but I probably wouldn't say $200 is enough to start with. Hope that makes sense. Let's kind of go through. I work remotely everywhere in the UK. When I book on the UPS site for pickups, can I request different pickup address as registered FBA address? Yeah. So if we have multiple prep centers, we can switch between them. Absolutely fine. I think, don't quote me, I think when you create the booking, they'll do it. No, actually, no, tell her. I think you can just do it on the UPS website. You book it in. Yeah. So yeah, no problem. Like absolutely fine. We have multiple prep centers, so we're doing multiple pickups. Yeah, no problem. Saros Empire obviously did join, so fantastic. KCB 3, brilliant VA package. Yeah, guys, if you are interested in VA, fasttrackfba.com/VA, that is really, really helpful. And I'll support you as well, supporting you in Q3. So there's a lot of people we supported. I think we've done 300 customers with our VAs, 500 VAs. Why? It works. It really, really does. It really helps out. I'm not saying you need a VA, but it can definitely help you and support you in your business if you want to grow. I did an interview with, Saros Empire, and he talked about it. He said, look, work on high value tasks. I think it's really important. And you can definitely do this business on your own. But I also think, look, perhaps maybe sometimes we can't all do it full time. Some of us have got jobs, whereas like having a team to help you can be really beneficial. So that's what I do. I'm not saying everyone should do it, but if that's something that you're interested in, check out fasttrackfba.com/VA. So thank you, Coach 3. Saros and Gravy are legends. Yeah, I do love them. I think they do great. And do you know what I love? What I love about selling on Amazon is the fact that people are willing to share, willing to talk about what they're doing, and they share so much, and you can learn so much from them. So like Saros and Gravy have shared so much what they're doing, and they've opened up and shared that. And I think that's great. Why? Because you can see what's happening, and they can help you out as well. So that's a really important point, and then that's going to kind of help us improve, and as a whole, the community gets better as well. I think that's pretty much it for the questions. If anyone's got any final questions, do drop them down below. I will be back tomorrow. Right now, if you want to know, I'm in the Philippines. I'm in the southern part of the Philippines in a place called where am I? In a place called CDO. So yeah, CDO. I'll kind of get my thing. This is like Google Maps. Let's kind of zoom out. This is like the southern part of the Philippines, and then like Manila's up there. That's where I'm going to fly to today. And if you want to see context, that's like Asia. You can kind of see there. So you can see if we go back, zoom in. Whee! That's me. That's where I am now. So so I'm in the southern part of the Philippines. Just met my staff, who's been really good. Met loads of them, and then finally I'm going to be going to Manila. And then tomorrow I start the holiday part of the adventure. Woohoo! I'm going to El Nido, and then obviously off to Boracay Beach. Looking forward to that. What does your team do apart from VA sourcing? Great question, Mariam. I'll answer that quickly. They source, they purchase, they do all the admin, they manage the logistics of the business, and we now have someone who does our pricing as well. So that is what we really do. And that's in my Amazon business. In Fast Track FBA, we do lots of other stuff like training the VAs, supporting the VAs, supporting our customers, product development, software development. There's a lot that happens there. So that's what we really focus on. But really, the admin side is sourcing, purchasing, admin. Or the Amazon side is sourcing, purchasing, Amazon, and then operations and repricing. That's what they do. We have roles for those, and it really helps out. So yeah. Olbab says, the free information you guys give is incredible, greatly appreciated. No, agreed. Yeah, absolutely agreed. So, it's great. And I've learned so much as well. I went and met Tim, and that was great. We went and met him in person. And obviously I will do that. I think I'll go meet him Miami Sellers Conference next month. Looking forward to that as well. So I need to get home sometime and see my girlfriend. She's like, but hey. Right, ladies and gentlemen, It's been a pleasure. My alarm has gone off. Tom needs to wake up. And I will catch up with you same time tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Hit the thumbs up. Give me a love heart. If you enjoy this, give me a love heart, thumbs up, love heart, thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up, love heart if you're enjoying this. And obviously, it just lets me know that you like them. And obviously, Tom should keep doing them. And then obviously, I will catch up with you same time tomorrow. Everyone stay safe from the Philippines. CDO, peace out. Have a great day, guys. Keep smashing your Amazon business. Bye.